Fallout 4. If there's one franchise of games that I'll always keep coming back to, it's the Fallout games. Well, the modern ones anyway. I don't know, there's no real reason why I've never played the old ones, but they look dumb and different, so I don't really want to play them ever. Hashtag Fallout fan. But Fallout 3 and New Vegas are genuinely among some of the best games I've ever played. Knowing that you could go wandering off in any direction at any point in the story and find something completely new and exciting was really cool to me. A talking tree? Whoa! A city populated by kids? Cool! A nice view of a little town with a bridge and stuff. Wait, oh my god, what is— oh my god, that's an albino red scorpion, get away from me! There are so many things to see and do in the Fallout games that I'm still discovering new things about it today. Up until the other day when recording that clip, I had never come across an albino red scorpion in my life, and I'd always wanted to. And now I have. So that's pretty cool.
Did you kill it? Nice.
The point is, I love Fallout, and ever since New Vegas in 2010, I've been clamoring for more. Clamoring. I've been clamoring like a clam, like an ocean clam. And now, after all this time, Fallout 4 is finally a thing that exists, and I'm gonna talk about it. On with the review right now, no delaying. Much like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, the less I say about the story, the better. Especially seeing as I've had the ending spoiled to me on social media over and over again, the last thing I want to do is contribute to the spoilerness. In Fallout 4, you play as the lone survivor of Vault 111, on the hunt for a missing family member. And even though that might sound exactly like Fallout 3 on the surface, it ain't. One difference being that Fallout 3 story is interesting, whereas this one isn't. Okay, that's not really true at all, but for whatever reason, the story just never really hit me. Despite the fact that I love the first few hours of the game, seeing your character be all like, hey, where's my family member? Do you know where they are? Just feels like treading old ground to me. I've already spent an entire game looking for your dad in Fallout 3. I just feel like I'm kind of doing it again. I mean, the story does go off in its own way, and it is kind of different the more you go into it, but like when you really get right down to it, it is the same basic premise, and it's, I don't know. But one thing I've come to realize with Fallout is that the main storyline is never usually the most interesting one. Not only can side quests often offer a much more fun and interesting experience, but so can your own adventures. Walking around with Dogme, immersing yourself in the world of Boston and its lovely inhabitants. It's just so good. Like Todd Howard says, it just works. And it really does.
All of this just works.
In a lot of ways, Fallout 4 just feels like more of what you'd expect. Searching around, shooting bad guys, listening to old-timey songs on your Pip-Boy radio. It's enough to make me tear up from the title screen alone. Oh my god, that theme is fantastic. But that's not to say that Fallout 4 is just the same game all over again. There are quite a few new additions too that set it apart from Fallout 3. 1. Your character speaks! And my reaction to this is more or less the same as it was with Booker DeWitt. Wasn't really sure about it at first, but it just works. 2. Character sculpting! Even though I've never really cared about messing about with someone's face in a game where I'll never bloody see it, I can't really deny how amazingly diverse the character creator is. We've definitely come a long way since the days of like WWE and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater where you like have to like, where character creation wasn't good. When you have 7 settings just for forehead blemishes alone, you know you've got a pretty in-depth character creator. 3. Interacting with people. Instead of having full sentences to choose from and knowing everything you're about to say, like in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, all you have in Fallout 4 are streamlined little keywords, which I don't really like as much. I get that it works for games like Mass Effect and Telltale's The Walking Dead and stuff, but I don't know, I thought this worked pretty well before. Analysing whether or not you have enough speech to persuade people, or enough knowledge on medicine or science or repair to help them out, felt really cool. This, I don't know, not so much. It definitely doesn't detract from the game completely, not by any means. But I can't really help but feel like it's a bit of a needless addition, or I guess subtraction in this case, that just makes it feel a little bit less like Fallout to me. You wanna know the word for it? You wanna know the word? It makes Fallout a little bit more casual, it feels like. Yeah, I use the C word, mom. no brakes on the cane train. But then there's other additions such as sprinting, weapons not degrading over time, and no level cap that are very welcome after previous games. But not to worry though, because it definitely still feels like a Bethesda game at heart.
All of this just works.
Another major staple of Fallout 3 is the VAT system, which as time went on I started depending on more and more. Because the gameplay isn't that good. And oh my god, has this been improved in Fallout 4. Not only does shooting enemies and aiming down your sights and involving yourself in gunfights feel really cool and responsive now, but VATS as a whole is not the saving grace that it once was. In Fallout 3, no matter the situation, you could always pause time and bam, the tension is dead, everyone is frozen forever. But not so much in Fallout 4. Sure, it makes time slow to a crawl instead of stopping it completely, but it doesn't dilute that sense of panic. There's still a sense of, oh god, where do I aim? Where do I put my gun? I have like 5 seconds to decide, he's coming right for me, oh god! So not only does VATS feel a lot more organic to the game, but seeing as the game itself has been improved like a millionfold to the point where you won't really ever need to use VATS like you did in Fallout 3, it doesn't even matter, so everyone wins, yay! But of course, no game is perfect, and I'd be lying if I said that Fallout 4 was an exception to this rule. Because even though I have been praising it up until now, there are quite a few big flaws in there too. One thing that became immediately apparent is that Fallout 4 continues the Bethesda tradition of having characters you're supposed to follow walk a lot slower than you, which just ends up with me walking there and waiting for them to catch up. I'm not asking that everybody in the game sprints at full speed 100% of the time, but at least walk at the same speed as I do. Another minor issue are the loading times. I say minor in this case because personally I've never been too bothered about having to wait for loading screens in games. If anything, I'm kinda used to it by this point. Anyone that's grown up with games like Spyro, Enter the Dragonfly knows what it's like to wait for bloody years on end for the game to load. I'm like Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, I've been murdered by loading screens. But that doesn't mean it isn't an issue for people in general. As big as Fallout 4 is, I feel like the PS4 should be able to load environments a little bit quicker. But apart from that, not too much to complain about. Seeing that though, the game can be incredibly buggy at times, pretty damn glitchy, like I previously went into with that little montage thing. But then again, it wouldn't really be a Bethesda game if it wasn't full of glitches and bugs, so it's tradition by this point. Maybe that's not really a good reason to give a game a free pass, because it's traditional for it to be buggy and glitchy, but whatever, I'm doing it anyway, I guess. Overall, Fallout 4 is one of those games that is almost impossible to review in this format. I could genuinely talk about this game for 3 hours and I'd still be like, oh man, I didn't even mention all that other stuff, how did I forget to talk about that? Oh no! Which is why for the next few minutes I'm gonna get out all of the little points I wanted to make in this review, but I couldn't find a place to put them in this script, so I'm just gonna blurt it all out in the next minute and a half, so go. For example, I like how different the enemies look in this game. Feral ghouls, it used to be stupid and annoying, but now they're scary and stupid and annoying. Anyone that knows me knows that I am petrified of rad scorpions if you saw me talk about them in that one other video I did. And even though I haven't come across a giant one yet, I'm pretty thankful that I haven't, because Wowie Mama, that's one scary face. I like the new radio host. I've been told that I resemble him a lot because of the awkward goobly gobbly way that he talks, but I don't see it. I'm not socially awkward and anxious, I'm a cool guy. People are probably annoyed that I haven't brought up settlements at all. That's because that part of the game didn't interest me, nor has this kind of thing ever interested me in these kind of games ever. If I were IGN or GameSpot, I'd have to talk about it because it's my job, but I'm just a fat arsehole shouting about games on the internet, so I'm not going to talk about them, sorry. The game looks really good. People who say it looks the same as Fallout 3 are delusional and should be shot. I like how Fallout has colours now. It's nice that Bethesda have realised you can have a bright blue sky and a colourful environment and still get across the idea that it's a wasteland. Not everything has to look green or orange and brown. There's a new enemy type in Fallout 4 called Simps, and they are scary. They're pretty much like if the Seeks and Synthetics from Alien Isolation had guns and could shoot you. And that's a scary combination if I ever heard one. I like the way the Pip-Boy glows green when in dark areas. It reminds me of Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story 2, starring Buzz Lightyear. Okay, I think that's everything. I'll stop shouting now. I guess what I'm trying to say, what I've been trying to say for this entire video, is that Fallout 4 is a pretty bloody massive game. One that I can't really sum up in one 10-minute review alone. But overall, Fallout 4 is awesome. Is it the best Fallout game I've played to date? It's hard to say. Was it worth waiting 8 years for? Probably not, but it's absolutely still a fantastic game, one that I'll be coming back to time and time again. Welcome home, Fallout. Welcome home.